welcome. Let's talk about National River Conservation Plan. Now, this National River Conservation Plan did not came in one day. The most important aspect was that first of all, it was that rivers are getting polluted. So there should be some way through which the rivers should be clean. Now, in light of this, Ganga Action Plan was brought in the phase 1, and this was back in year 1985. However, later it was realized that this does not suffice and phase 2 should come up, which came in 1993, where two other rivers were part of Ganga, and these two included rivers were Yamuna and Gomti. However, the program further expanded, and in 1995 it came under the ambit of National River Conservation Plan, and finally in December 1996 the Ganga Action Plan 2 got merged with the NRCP, that is the National River Conservation Plan, for cleaning of the countries throughout India. So in this lecture, our main focus would be to understand what is NRCP, the National River Conservation Plan, which all rivers are included as part of it, and we would be focusing on two major projects, that is Namami Gange project and Yamuna Action Plan. So to begin with, first of all, the ideas that have been laid down under NRCP, the National River Conservation Plan. So the idea is to check out the sewerage lines, to capture the raw sewage which flows into the river through the open drains, have the STPs, that is the sewerage treatment plants, as and where required, and divert the sewage wherever required, sanitation toilets at low cost to be built up, electrical crematoriums or improved wood crematoriums to be brought to conserve the wood in case it is a wood crematorium, and then development of bathing ghats, development of riverfront parks, people's participation, awareness, educational programs, and so on. So from 2014, all the works related to Ganga and its tributary has been transferred to Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. That means Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is implementing the projects for all other rivers except that of Ganga. For Ganga river, it falls under Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. That's really important to understand. Okay, so under NRCP, as of now, all the rivers, all the major rivers are included except Ganga and its tributaries, which cover nearly so the NRCP as of now cover nearly 33 rivers, which is spread across 76 towns and 15 states, and have an allocated budget of more than 4,800 crores, which is a surmountable budget. Initially, when the project was brought, most of the funding was on a 100% basis by the center. Later on, the rules were changed and this became on a 50-50 center-state partnership. Now, the list of the 33 rivers which are part of the NRCP are the following ones. So, all the 33 rivers have been cited here. Brahmani, Kaveri, Devika, Gaggar, Godavari, Krishna, Mahanadi, Panchganga, Pamba, Vegai, Vennar, Vaiganga are some of the rivers which have been cited here. So, I repeat again, nearly 45,000 kilometers of the river length that India has, with nearly 12 major river basins, 46 medium river basins and 14 minor and desert river basins. Ganga is the largest, which lies in 11 states, but this Ganga is taken care by Ministry of Water Resources and River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. However, all these 33 rivers which fall under the NRCP, National River Conservation Plan, come under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And the idea is, be it the Ganga river, Yamuna river or any other river, linking the culture close to the tradition, These rivers have been the lifeline of the people, and rejuvenating those rivers have been important. So the present coverage of NRCP, as we already said, includes 14 states, 75 towns, 31 rivers, which is now increased to 33 rivers. The initial cost, which was 4,500, has increased to 4,800, and expenditures have been nearly 2,800 crores, of which the funds that have been released by the government are nearly 2,000 crores. And the sewage treatment plants with high capacity of nearly 2,373 million liters a day have been established. Now, of the pollution that is coming into the river, it can be point pollution or non-point pollution. We have already covered that in our previous lectures. Point pollution means through a specific source that the pollution is entering into the river. So it could be through a municipal waste, it could be through a industrial pollution. So industrial pollution accounts for a lesser percentage of 25%, but mainly it is the municipal sewage waste which does not go through the sewage treatment plant and merges directly into the river, and that accounts for nearly 75% of the point source pollution. In the non-point source pollution, open defecation, cattle wallowing, disposal of dead bodies, animal carcasses, runoff from medical waste or agricultural fields could be some of the examples that could be there. Now, Indian rivers have been classified under 5 categories when it comes to the quality of water that the river has. So these 5 categories are: the water from the river is suitable for drinking purpose without any treatment, but you only have to disinfect it, that is, have it pass through the chlorine. That is mainly in the uphills. So where you have the water directly flowing from the glaciers, you have water right as a drinking source, right? The next is the water quality that is safe for bathing purposes. The second is the water that requires convectional treatment, and that includes disinfection as well. The next is water quality which is suitable for wildlife, and the water quality which is useful for industrial purpose, irrigation, or for disposal purpose, right? So these are the 5 broad categories. Now, the standards have to be met for each of these categories. For example, if I talk about bathing quality, for bathing quality you have 4 criterias. The biochemical oxygen demand should be maximum 3 milligrams per liter. The dissolved oxygen maximum 5 milligrams per liter, and calciform, which is the fecal matter, maximum permissible is 2,500. The limit is from 500 to 2,500. That is for the bathing number, and the most probable number here is 100 ml. Now all these, what is BOD, what is dissolved oxygen, what is COD, we have covered in a separate lecture, so you can just go back and check that lecture if you want to understand more details on these terms, right? The next is for standards for the treated sewage under the NRCP is: if the BOD is 30 in a water body or 100 in the land, that needs to be treated. For TSS of 50 and 200, the total solid waste, it should be treated. Then the calciforms around 10,000 to 10,000, right? So that's the range. They have to be treated, and for bathing they have to be brought between the range of 500 to 2,500, right? For drinking it is further reduced, and that's how the process works. Now, the most important thing that we would understand here is whenever we brought about or we talk about projects that come with, for example, the river conservation or any other conservation programs, there are numerous challenges that they have to face. For example, for water conservation, what could be the challenge? Infrastructure, one of the challenges. Finance, another challenge is the amount of fund that's flowing in. The next is the treatment capacity of each plant is fixed. How we can tackle the point source pollution, and we can identify, okay, these are the areas from where the point source pollution is coming, but what about non-point source pollutions? So those non-point source pollution